Right, good afternoon people of the YouTubes. A little bit more work on the Escort XR3i challenge car. We're going to crack on and do the passenger side inner wing. As you can see, I've already done this driver side one, just so I know how to do it basically and which way I was going to go. I'll just take you through it, but you can see I've cut out this section at the repair panel and put that in as it would be from the factory, and then just put this bit in as a repair panel basically. I think I've covered this before in one of the videos, but basically if I was restoring it, I'd have probably butt welded all these on here instead of spot welding basically. But because I'm not restoring it, it's just a race car, I want it to be removable again without too much difficulty basically. But the panel that you get here is one complete thing. So basically you cut the whole thing out and you literally, if I can get this in here, you basically just stick it in on the inside there and weld it in. But like the other side, I'm going to cut down here somewhere and put that panel in first, and then remove all that bit there and then put the front bit in. I don't know where I've got this from. I think I've got it off eBay, but I thought it was well, you can see where I've got it from MC Trading. It says Magnum car panels. Is that MC Trading? I don't know. I think I've got it off eBay from a different seller. And they were just, because you can't buy direct from Magnum, you have to be a dealer for them or an authorised seller to get them. So anyway, I'm waffling on a bit. I think the first thing I'm going to do now is remove this headlight bucket, because I've obviously done that side, is to remove this headlight bucket and then hopefully get this panel here on the inside so I know where to cut down here basically. But anyway, I'm going to set you up a little bit of a time lapse, just remove this front bit of panel here, and then we'll come up with some sort of plan. Again, I think I've mentioned this in a previous video, I'm not a body repair specialist, I'm just winging it as I go basically, and hopefully it's made a good strong job for a race car at least. Right, time lapse. Right, now with that out of the way, we can see a little bit better. I'm going to have to do some kind of repairs to the seam here. Yeah, it's just had so many spot welds and tack welds go into it, and you see how crumpled this bit is. So we have to try and straighten this out. I have got this other chassis leg to repair the inner chassis leg, because as you see it's a little bit cracked and it's been bent and someone strained it out and hammered it to straighten it out and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's not looking too good on this corner. Again, with this bit here, we'd have to make some more tabs. This bit here comes with a new slam panel, so we need to cut this bit off here and here, and tidy up some of these flanges and maybe make some new flanges. But you can see the state of that there, and you can see where I've just cut off that little bit of flange there. But you can see where it should be, or where it's previously been welded in place. Right, let's see what else we can cut off. Well, you can see now where that panel's meant to fit into place. It's very crude, but what repair panel isn't, you know, you sort of have to make it fit really. But yeah, all I need to do really is to ascertain of where I need to cut this down. So I can probably say around there. So I'll just mark that, cut that down. I think what we'll do, let me zoom you out. I think what we'll do is we'll just concentrate on repairing this. You see that goes in a little bit more. We need to cut a little bit of this out because that's a bit rotten. But it's like 3 skins in there. Might be able to show you. So we've got this, which is your upper bulkhead, and then you've got like the frame, and then you've got this other panel here, which is literally this whole A pillar, and then you've got this outer A pillar bit as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start trimming this down, cut a little bit more out of there and get that roughly into place, and then hopefully we can start gluing that in. Right, as you can see, we've progressed a little bit. Just test the panel. I'm not entirely happy with that inner wing, and I'll explain the reason why in a second. But I'm just test fitting some of the wings to make sure it all lines up. Yeah, you can see a massive gap here. Again, it's neither either. That'll push in a little bit. But with this inner wing, you can see I've had to cut out this little bit here and this little bit here you can see it's not really very nice there. Where if you compare it to the other side, that's a lot nicer fit. And I don't know why. Well, I think I know why anyway. But let me get this scuttle off. Let me get this wing off. Just take these clamps off. Just lay that in there for now. We've only got one clamp at the bottom. You can see it's quite low here as well. Get that wing off. You can see I've cut the panel how I cut the other side. You can see where I'm going to butt weld all this in here and butt weld that, and then the idea is to plug weld in here, look at the other side, and there'll be a few plug welds along here for the return flanges, but it just doesn't fit right. As I say, that side is absolutely fine, fitted lovely, but this side, that needs to come up about 5mm to meet the wing. And the bit that I'm more concerned about is the bonnet hinge placement, because I have to run bonnet hinges, and they've got to be operational. So yeah, I can't run 4 quick release pins, so there's got to be 2 quick release pins on the front and operational by bonnet hinge. So yeah, the reason why I don't think this is fitting properly is because on here it says Ford Escort Mark III. So I'm not entirely sure if they're different or not. but yeah, you can see that one's clearly different to that one. So I don't know if they are different. For Mark 3s and 4s, the main structure is the same. It's just literally the front end, I believe. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order another inner wing from Mark 4 and see if it's any different. And if we've got to start again, we've got to start again. But the only problem is, obviously, I've already cut the body out to fit that bit there. So yeah, anyway, right, you see this old bit here. Took it that way. Yeah, went in like that. So maybe we can utilise that to repair. I want to make one repair really, not patchwork. But anyway, I'm going to order another panel and see what that looks like when it turns up. So bear with me for a few days and I'll pick this up when I've got the new panel.
Many months later.
Right, we're back again. I'd say a few days in that last clip, but it's been a bit longer than that. It's been a couple of months. That last clip was middle of November and now we're sort of like in the middle of January. So just haven't had time to focus on this car at the minute in regard to getting that one ready and doing a few other bits on the Metro and stuff like that. So yeah, I found a couple of hours a day where I can mess around with this. I don't really want to start on the bodywork on that just yet because I've got a job coming in the next couple of days which requires that ramp. So after that, then we'll get on and do the bodywork on the MGF. But you're not here to hear me go on about that. You're here to watch some Escort action. Right, so I've now got the replacement panel for Mark 4. And as you can see, I've got it cut and I've got it in place. And I'm happy with it now. And it matches the other side, so which is great. Let me just come over to this bit here, and this is obviously the old one, and you can just see there is slight differences in them. So yeah, I'm going to say that the Mark 3s are different to the Mark 4s, and obviously got a Mark 4 on that one, and whether I think I bought them as a pair, so whether that got boxed up wrong or something, I don't know. But we have got this all in place, all cut down, trimmed down, all ready to go. I literally just need to find my hole punch to obviously stick all the plug weld holes in here. Actually, I don't even think I've got one. I think I borrowed it last time. I'll have to see if I can borrow another one for next door. Put my holes in here, the plug welds, stitch weld all this up here, and then we can go in a couple of plug welds in here, and then obviously tie in this battery tray down here, which I need to just tap in place once I've got all this inner panel sorted. So let me go and find a hole punch, because I haven't got a drill here either. That's at home because I've been doing stuff on the Metro. So yeah, my workshop is pretty much all at home at the minute. So yeah, let me find a hole punch. Let me see if we can get all this tacked in and welded in today, so then we can move on to that front part. Right, I've got some holes drilled in it now. So a couple of plug weld holes there. I've cleaned up all the edges and just some weld-free primer on there. A few more holes drilled this side. And yeah, just going to start sticking it. We've got these clamps here to bring the panel flush, but there's going to be a couple of places, like especially here, I'm going to have to pull that in or push that in like that to bring that panel out level. So yeah, I'll set you up and hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit of welding. I'm going to show you all of it because it's pretty much self-explanatory, just the same thing over and over and over again. So I'll put a few tack welds in and then I'll carry on and just do the whole lot off camera. Alright, there we go, it's all welded back together. Say back together, the new bit is all welded in. Some plug welds around here. This is all stitch welded in. There is a little bit of damage here where that is all almost like the whole front of the car, zoom you out, almost like the whole front of the car was going that way. It's been shunted that way, so I think it's cracked in here. See a little crack in there we'll have to weld up. I mean, it all looks relatively straight. Whoever had the accident had pulled it out again, but obviously the inner chassis leg is all bent up, so we'll replace that anyway. I've got a new one, or say new one, a good used one I can unpick off a cut. So yeah, we'll have to just have a look in this area here, because I think this bit here is all cracked and probably just see that there. So we'll have to sort that a little bit out, but again, it's just a race car, you know, it's not ever going to be going back on the road again. So it hasn't got to be perfect, hasn't really got to be watertight, just got to be relatively straight and stiff. So yeah, that's that bit welded in. A few plug welds just along there on that inner battery tray. So I'm just going to grind all that back with a flap disc, and then give it a lick of primer just to help protect it. I'll come back into that and then we can get on to the front half of the section. Right, thought I'd jump in here just before I put some primer on it. And see, I've taken all the high spots off. Didn't want to take too much off, obviously, because you don't want to take the strength out of it. But I've literally just took the tops off it, gave it some wipe down, some panel wipe, and I'm now about to stick some paint on it. I'll say paint, just some weld through primer, just because it's really zinc rich stuff, so it won't corrode as much as if I just put normal etch primer on. That lasts a little bit longer, shall we say. So I'll just let that go off for 10 minutes and then I'll stick another coat on. I'll come back to you. Right, there we go. That's all painted up now. Not looking too bad. You can obviously see where it's been done. Yeah, I mean the car's so battered up that it's hard to find a straight panel. When you're trying to put straight panels on a bent panel, my skills aren't good enough to make that work seamlessly. I mean, I would now fill all that with body filler and sand it all down. Because again, I'm not a panel beater. I'm not a professional body paint guy. I just get on and do stuff, and just takes a little bit of labour out of the purse, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's all done in there. So I guess the next thing is to do this bit here, but it's getting a bit late in the day now, so I'm going to go home, and hopefully tomorrow, I say hopefully because it could be another 2 months, hopefully tomorrow I'm going to get on and do this one, but it's all going to be in the same video anyway, so yeah, ain't going to be too long for you. So
the next day.
Right, we're back again. I'm just going to crack on and get this front section done. I think what I'm going to do with is start off by just, I know exactly where to cut, so we're just going to cut along this bend seam here, because obviously if I get the new one, that will go in like that, because it's got this big old lip on here, so we can do that. Yeah, so I'm just going to cut along here, and then we're going to see if we can straighten some of this out. I've got a ghost. Right, so that's a comparison of the new and the old. Obviously we haven't got the hole in here. I can't remember what that hole is for, to be honest with you. So we might need to cut that in, maybe for an air intake or something. I'm not entirely sure until I start putting things back together again. But as you can see, all that old, well, would you call it welding? And obviously it's had so many wings, it's been picked and unpicked and welded back on. Again, there's not really much of a lip. And that's the reason why I done that side. That side was straight, but the top of the lip, because it's had so many wings, just there wasn't any. So it's just easier to do a whole panel. But yeah, anyway, we'll stick this in roughly for now. I'm just going to have to cut that little bit off there, so that will fit in there. And then I'll come back to you when I've got it all sorted. Also, I'm just going to dress this edge up a bit, get rid of all the sharp edges. So I'll do that and then I'll come back to you. Right, that's that all trimmed up and ground back, just so there's no sharp edges. Right, let's get a bit closer and you can see how far out that original panel is bent. I've got it at the top here where it should be. Here is about 10 mil too far. Well, probably a bit more than that, probably about 15 mil if anything. So this whole panel needs to be brought up, and obviously it's very kinked along here. So once we straighten all that out, that'll then push that over there a little bit more. So yeah, to be honest with you, this bit don't really matter that much because it is all quite flexible. So when you put the the front panel on and the wings on, that's where you do all your alignment, because as you can see there's lots of flex in that where you can adjust it. So it's just a case of just making sure this flange here is lined up with this flange here. I know that one's all straight because yeah, that side has been untouched. So it's just a case of just bashing this out, bringing it up, bringing it forward, and then hopefully that will sort itself out. So I'm going to start up here, and then I'll probably start by drilling and tapping a few screws in there just to hold it in place, because I ain't got no longer clamps. That's the biggest clamp I've got. So yeah, I'm going to have to drill and screw it in place to hold it. So yeah, I'm just going to get on, do some knocking about, do some hammering, do some screwing, and I'll come back to you when I'm sort of like in a good place where I'm happy that I can start welding. Right, a couple of hours have passed now. It's not looking too good, unfortunately. The front end is a lot more bent than what I thought. The plus side is that one side is still straight, so we can go off that. So I've just put in the front panel so I can gauge how far out it actually is. Just take you over. You can see that all lines up lovely. There is a little bit of wiggle room in that if I need to. But yeah, come along the front here and that all almost lines up. And then you come over here and that's how far out it is. So again, not looking too pretty. I've got the wing in where I think it needs to go, in conjunction with the old one and how I've done it that side. So yeah, and I've actually been bashing this out with a hammer trying to straighten it out, but it's just not going. It needs to be put on a jig really and pulled out. But as I said, I have got a body cut of that chassis leg, which I've been unpicking. So it came as a whole chassis leg, and I've literally just drilled out all the spot welds. This is where all the strength is in this inner chassis leg. So I've undone all them spot welds, and this bit here is literally the inner wing, which is just a flimsy bit of tin basically. So my thought is that if I do the same on there, unpick that chassis leg, obviously offer that up, mark that where this goes, and then cut a couple of inches before this one starts, so give me some wiggle room. Unpick all the spot welds from that, remove that chassis leg, which will then free all that up basically. So it should make it a lot more malleable to bend into place. So it is literally just this inner wheel arch basically, which comes with the strut top. So yeah, I think it's, you can see it's bent here, that's bent here, and it's just literally pull this whole top half in. I'm not sure if I can show this on camera, but if I lay that in there somewhere, you might be able to gauge at how straight that one is to how bent this one is. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. But for this video, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish doing this inner wing here, because I know that should be there. I've bashed out as much of this as I possibly can with a hammer and dolly, straightened that out. So yeah, I think I'm just going to finish putting all that inner wing in, weld it all in, and then yeah, then that'll close that video off basically. And then we can move on to doing that chassis leg. And then once that chassis leg is off, I then should be able to pull this whole inner wheel arch this way and yeah, and get it straightened out, so this then comes over here a bit more. As I say, it's a couple of inches out there, not even a couple of mil out, it's a couple of inches out. So yeah, that's the plan of action. We'll carry on, we'll do this in a wing, we'll weld that in place because we know that should be where that should be, and then we can crack on in another video and do the inner chassis leg. So let's get all this off. Let's drill some holes for spot welds in here, and then let's get all that back in, primed up, back in, and then we'll finish off by welding that all in place. Right, that's that all clamped together, ready to be welded, clamped and screwed into place. A couple of little screws along there. So yeah, just going to start off a few little plug welds. Probably start at this end here, and then we'll have to do some hammering and jiggery pokery to get all this to meet up, because that's still a little bit bent. So yeah, we'll just hammer that into place as it warms up, makes it a little bit easier. So yeah, let me get you set up and make a start on it. Right, that's all the tack welds all in place. I'll say tack welds, all the spot welds, plug welds, sorry, get my words out in a minute. Just gonna leave these screws in for now. We will just fill them up in a minute, but we'll now just seam weld all this in place, and then just finish it off, and we'll probably just dress down these welds a little bit just so it's a little bit nicer. But yeah, let's get on and seam weld that in place. Right, so you get the idea. I'm just going to finish off doing all the way down here, a little bit at the front here, and then that'll just be a case of just grinding the back a little bit with a flat wheel, and then just sticking some more weld-free primer on it if I've got any left. Also, we need to obviously take the screws out as well and just fill them holes up. But yeah, as I say, you get the idea. Welding, not too bad. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with that. So, right, let's finish this off and I'll come back to you when it's done. Right, that's that all done. All seam welded along here. I've done that little crack in there, so that's all nice now. Done all the plug welds, took all the screws out, filled them holes up, and while I was at it I filled in a couple of other holes where people have just screwed into the bodywork, and of course the strut brace. So I'm not allowed to run a strut brace in the classic stock hatch, unfortunately, which would have helped with the rigidity of the car, and it really needs it, especially at the top strut towers where it's just been that whole mess. Anyway, so just going to grind back some of them welds and give it a clean, give it a wipe with some powder wipe, and just give it a bit of paint just so the colour all matches and you can see what's going on and see how good the repair is once it's all in one colour. So yeah, anyway, let's just do that and we'll come back to you in a minute. Right, that's that jobbed. So all new inner wings, front and back, front. Tried to do it a little bit different. Instead of just whacking in that repair panel, I tried to do it so it's like almost factory here, where it goes down onto the A pillar here. And then obviously we just put this bit in as a patch as well. So I've ground down most of the welds, give it a quick coat of silver, and just so it's all one colour. This side's a lot more battered up obviously than this side, but we've still got to obviously not bodywork it, but strip it all back down with a DA, probably put some high build primer on it and then rub that down and then put a coat of paint on it. So it ain't going to be perfect because it don't need to be perfect, because it's a race car, as I keep saying. But yeah, that is the plan. As you can see, there's loads of hammer marks and stuff. I tried using hammer and dolly, but again, I'm not a body shop expert, not panel beater, so we tried to get it in as much as we can. You can probably see a lot more here how deformed it is. But the next goal is, you can probably see down here how far in that's kinking, so like this way, and then compare that to the other side, which is straight as an arrow. So yeah, next plan is, on next video, is going to be to remove this inner chassis member, see if we can straighten that out by putting the front panel back on. Let's zoom you out a little bit. By putting the front panel back on, clipping that all back into here so we know this end line up, and then trying to manipulate this inner wing to go out a bit more, and then hopefully we can then get our new second-hand item welded into there, and then hopefully that'll all pull straight. That is my plan anyway. And then it's just a case of, after that, it's just tidying up these front areas here. We'll weld on some more tabs onto these chassis rails here, and then weld in the front panel. So I ain't going to go too mad. I was debating whether just to put some new flanges in at the front here and here, because there isn't really much going on there, or whether just to cut them off, because we're still going to have the front panel attached here, here and here, and the same on the other side. So do we really need it to be attached here? You know, it's just inevitably it's going to be crashed again at some point, because that is just the way of how it goes. So yeah, that's probably going to need another front panel. So we're going to try and get it on as securely as possible, but with the least amount of not work, but you know, so it comes off a lot easier if we need to take it off, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, anyway, that's that panel done. That panel's already done. The battery tray is done. So yeah, we're slowly getting there. And then obviously once all the welding is done, then we can bodywork the entire engine bay and get that all in one colour. As you can see, the car is black at the minute. John Player's special theme is what the last owner was attempting. It used to be white. I think I covered this in my previous videos. It could be like a Marlboro looking at the orange. A Marlboro, or I think it's a Repsol livery. So yeah, I'm not too sure whether to change the whole colour of the car. I'm not going to worry too much on the outside for the time being, but if we're going to change the colour on the car, I want to do the engine bay the same colour. So we're going to stone chip all underneath with white stone chip, so if there's any oil leaks then we can clearly see them. But the engine bay is going to be body colour, so I'm either going to go back to black and do the whole thing black. That'll be the easiest option, or we'll go silver, you know, to match my other race car, or we'll go Ford Performance Blue, like an ST blue or something like that. So let me know in the comments what you think, and you know, put your suggestions in. But yeah, I think for now we'll just leave it here, and the next video we'll do on this will be the chassis leg. Yeah, I'm rambling, so I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.